This is Rob Roy. We are Dead by Wednesday.
I'm Opus.
Mike.
Kyle.
You're watching The
Offering Webzine.
We're here at Full Terror Assault Open Air with Dead by Wednesday. How you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
We're fabulous. We're in our own trailer. So
And you've been on tour since mid-August with Raven. How's it going so far?
so far, so great. I mean, it's Raven's amazing band. I mean, we're lucky to be on tour with those guys. They're legendary. You know, some of the stories they've been telling us are like surreal. I mean, they were on a bus with Cliff Burton, for Christ's sake. I mean, some of the things were like, whoa, this is crazy. He's just hearing the stories, and they're funny, humble guys. It's been an amazing tour so far. And even the weeknight shows have been pretty slamming. So we're really psyched to be on this tour.
Any particular show that you really loved?
Song?
Show so far.
Oh man.
Arlington, Texas, and Nashville. Probably
yeah.
one of my favorites.
Atlanta, Georgia was pretty cool too. They've all been pretty awesome. Arlington was.
Arlington was my favorite.
Last night,
That was my
Indy was. They made us do an encore last night.
It was at a brewery actually. That was
In Indiana, yeah.
Black Circle Brewing Company.
Arlington was cool. It was in like a legitimate old-fashioned saloon like you see in the movies. Like you walk in and there's like a bar, everyone's smoking. There's like a big balcony with like old
Bunch of old
railings.
school
You know, it's
gamblers.
definitely built 100+ years ago. You can just imagine like going in and ordering whiskey and then like people having guns holstered and
Hell yeah.
and like prostitutes up on the balcony, like
What's
whole
up,
nine.
sugar? How
you could
you
tell
doing?
that like it legitimately was a saloon like that. It's
Yeah.
cool.
I got a T-shirt.
Diamond Gems, it's called.
Yeah, Diamond Gems. I got a T-shirt from the place and it says liquor in the front, poker in the rear. Yeah.
And tonight you get to play in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
I have several
not
times.
actually.
Yes, you have.
Oh, with Laconia.
No, with Mark Rizzo.
Oh,
We
yeah,
played
yeah, yeah.
acoustically.
Yeah, it's a lot different though.
Still, we're in the middle of the woods,
I've played a
man.
couple festivals, up in New England, out in the woods and everything. It's the best place to go because nobody comes out here to mess with anybody. We can be as loud as we want. We can have fun.
I've actually played this property before. So has he. He doesn't remember. Mike doesn't remember, but we played here before. I remember the old Ferris wheel. We played like 2008, a big festival. I forgot the name of it, but yeah,
Sure wasn't Chernobyl?
2009 maybe.
Now, for those who are not familiar with the band or haven't seen you live yet, tell us a bit about the background.
It's full energy. We do our thing. It's hard to put it into words. I'm so used to just doing it, but it's a great live experience, in my personal opinion. What do you think about?
Yeah, we take a lot of influences. I'd say just a small generalization. I think for fans of like Slipknot, Pantera, Killswitch Engage, I guess those would be some of the bands that we're influenced by, and maybe kind of bundle up our sound a little bit. Obviously, you know, we have our own thing going, but
The history is is long in depth.
Yeah.
Him and I are the only original members.
Right.
It started in 2005 as far as forming the band. First album came out on Jamie Josta of Hatebreed's label Stillborn Records. It was more of a punk hardcore crossover type of thing, and it slowly morphed into a straight heavy metal. We're not metalcore, we're not death metal, we're not this metal, that metal. We're just a fucking heavy metal band. And that's what we try to do when we write. We don't have any boundaries. You know, we'll throw in, he's an amazing bass player, so Mike will throw in some pop in, like old school Infectious Groove type of shit. And then, you know, he'll sing, he'll scream, he'll do some spoken word stuff, whatever. He plays however the hell he wants to play, you know, soloing, some heavy riffs, some thrashy riffs, some melodic riffs. And I drum how I drum. I mean, my influences are Dave Lombardo, Vinnie Paul, Stuart Copeland, John Bonham. So it's a very eclectic mix, and throughout the years we've morphed into what we are now, and that's pretty much the history of the band, you know?
We're basically four completely different people that all have an extreme love and draw towards the same common goal and the same, the same wavelength as far as sound goes. We all want the same thing. We all want this to achieve the same thing musically, but we all come from different backgrounds.
Definitely.
Different walks of
Like,
life.
I'm more of an old school metalhead. These guys are more of a new
It's as
school.
diverse as it possibly can get, but at the same time, when you see us on stage, you'd never be able to tell, that we're like that.
Like Mike and I grew up on Megadeth, which the label we're on is David Ellison of
Right.
Megadeth, which is pretty wild. and Metallica and Testament and Slayer and you know, all those type of bands, as well as, but we also appreciate, I mean, I love everything. He likes jazz, I like you know, jam band stuff, and we all like different stuff, you know, even like some indie hip hop, and you know, this is really, it's good music is good music, and that's really what it comes down to.
Totally agree. And you, in August, you released a new lyric video for the song Darwin's Dance.
That's this guy right here.
Yeah, that song's
Tell us a bit about this
my
song.
baby. That's a song that the lyrics mean so much to me. They're really deep and important. You know, sometimes I write songs that might be about something I'm going through in my life, but that song is a bit more selfless, if you will. It's more about the whole world and the direction humanity is going. I mean, watch the lyric video, read the lyrics, and kind of interpret it for your own, but it's really a wake-up call, just saying, you know, if humanity keeps going in the direction it's going, we're going to completely ruin this gift that is our planet, you know. And there's even a side of the lyrics that's kind of hinting towards the fact that we may be past that event horizon where there's no turning back. So it's kind of that type of feel in the song, kind of almost an apocalyptic feel. But there's like a real meaning behind it, so it's cool. And Opus and I wrote most of the melodies to it too, so that song's really my baby.
I mean, and it's also was really like some of his first real efforts with us, because although he's not necessarily the new singer, he's been with us for a couple of years now. It's taken us a while to meld as a band and write a bunch of material with him. So this is like our first, like, okay, here it is. This is what Rob Roy can do. That's him. Yeah. This is what he can do. Boom. So literally, boom. There's lyrics in there.
Yeah.
But so that's Rob Roy, the singer. My name is Opus. I play drums. Mike Modest on bass. Kyle Larry on guitar.
Yeah.
Very
so you
simple
guys have a new album in the making?
Yep, we're actually in the middle of it.
Can you tell us anything, or it's all secret?
I mean, it's gonna have songs like Darwin's Dance that are high energy, heavy, kind of punchy in the gut. But it's also gonna show a versatility. You know, I can sing. I like to sing. You know, I like screaming too. But some songs are gonna be a mix. Some songs are gonna be more screaming, and there's going to be songs that are really catchy, anthemic, melodic vocals too. So, you know, that's what people can expect. It's going to be a little bit for everyone. Anyone who likes anything from rock to deathcore should have something in there that they like.
I personally do not like putting any band, anything that we do in a box. It limits us, and I know we're not like super eclectic. We're still just a heavy metal band, but we should be able to appeal to any audience, where even if you don't like heavy metal, you might like a song or two of ours, because, you know, like I said, he can sing and he's classically trained, and we all come from different backgrounds as well, but we love metal. That's what we want to do, is heavy metal. But like, some half the stuff's going to be melodic, half the stuff's going to be heavy, and you know,
everything in between too.
Everything in between, you know. So it's
this song. I mean, we have about half the album recorded, and I mean, there's complete balls to the wall metal. There's more like anthemic, almost kill switchy type stuff that's more almost all singing. And there's some thrash songs in there. We're gonna open up tonight with a thrashy tune for this crowd. And you guys will hear a lot. Tonight we'll be playing like about half of stuff before my time, so I'm kind of filling those shoes. But
does a great job doing it.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff we have in the works. We have not only the songs that we already have fully done and recorded, but the ones that we have coming up that we got to finish up and record are a really good mix of genres within metal. So
like I love like screaming stuff, but you know, lately I feel like personally
everyone's doing
like the last 10 years you go to these festivals and there's 20 bands that all sound the same because all you hear is screaming. And there's nothing like back in the day, like when Mike and I were kids, you'd leave a show and you remember a couple lines because they had a hook. You're like, oh, I remember that band was cool. That was a cool line, or whatever. And that's kind of what we're trying to incorporate back into what we're doing. You know.
So do you have a release date approximately?
Early
next
to mid
year.
2018. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And your previous full length, Darkest of Angels, it's really particular as you had many guest vocalists. How did you come up with this idea?
It's a long story, but I'll try to break it down as short as
It's a
possible.
little
'cause
bit
I-
out of necessity.
yeah.
They didn't have me yet, so they needed.
Basically, we had some issues with our last singer. He was going through some personal stuff.
Right.
And we had a whole album recorded and done, and it was killer. Mike and I, had a whole album finished, and we didn't know what to do. We're like, okay, well, we don't have a singer, so what do we do? And basically, while we were looking for a singer, we called upon all our friends from all the years of touring, and just basically people that wanted to come to our aid to help us create an awesome, unique album. So we ended up, hitting up a bunch of our friends, and a bunch of people came to co-write songs with us, like John Arch of Fate's Warning, Paul Stoddard of Diecast, Brian Fair of Shadows Fall, who we toured with, Eric A.K. from Flotsam and Jetsam, and we have some heavy hitters that are pretty legendary that came to help us and co-wrote songs with us, the melodies, the lyrics, even helped arrange some of the songs. I mean, we wrote all the music and recorded all the music. We didn't have a singer at the time. So while we were looking for singers, we said, okay, let's do something different. Let's do a concept album about addiction, and let's get some friends to help us out. And some great people came and stepped up to the plate, and we decided to create a guest vocalist album, which, in theory isn't super original, but it is for what our genre. And it ended up being great. We caught the eye of Tom Hazard, the A&R guy, and David Ellison of EMP Label Group, who have been longtime friends as well. And they loved the idea. But once they heard Rob's voice, in the meantime, we found Rob. And the story's funny because I answered a Craigslist ad, and Rob actually sent me some stuff, and we loved it. It was like his screaming was very similar to Phil Anselmo. His singing voice was sort of Corey Slipknot-ish, but more unique. But our conversation went terrible. We didn't connect at first, and we were like, you know what? Let's not bother. We didn't talk for like a few weeks. Then, after touring with Shadows Fall, we asked Maddie, and John from Shadows Fall, who's now with Anthrax, hey, you know any singers? Well, they happened to see him at a karaoke singing Pantera, and they actually named him as someone to check out. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, is that the same guy I just talked to a few weeks ago? And basically, we talked again and realized, okay, this is the second time we're getting connected. It's got to be fate. Let's give it a shot. We gave it a shot. Since then, it's been going great. And started writing and recording and jamming tunes, and that's how we found Rob. But the guest vocals album came out, like you said, came from necessity. We didn't have anybody. We wanted to do something cool. We ended up putting it out, and it got great reviews, and it did really well for us. And that's a lot of the material that he's going to be singing tonight is basically him singing these other guys' songs, even though it's our band. So it's weird. It's like our music,
It actually was kind of a blessing for me as a vocalist because before finding this project, I have a college degree. I was working a regular day job and going back to school, and I hadn't had a project for a while, so my voice took a while to get ramped up back to where it is now, tour ready and that type of stuff. But it was kind of a blessing because with this Darkness of Angels album, I have so many different shoes to fill, so many different legendary singers to try to sound like in each song to sing live. I think there's one song on the album that I can't sing. It's the John Arch one because its range is just so much higher than mine. Every other song though I can sing live, and filling all those different shoes made me grow so much as a vocalist.
Definitely.
And now when we get back in the studio and I'm recording my own stuff, I have so much more versatility. So really, it's kind of fate in a way. It made me grow so much as a singer.
Fate.
Yeah.
So what are your plans after this big tour?
Go back to
We got a fresh.
Yeah, we have
Basically,
Yeah.
we have half an album already
Yeah.
recorded, and we have like the other half of the album, like all the riffs are there. We
In the
just gotta
infant
put them
stages.
together. And
Yep, just got a big puzzle, just gotta
gotta
put them
mold.
together. and make
We
them-
do have
Make the songs
a
together.
possible European tour in the works for February of 2018, but it's possible. It's not. We're still in the early stages of it. But really, writing and recording, like Mike said,
Awesome.
that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for the
Thank you.
interview.
Grazie.
Prego.
Grazie. I know that one.
Make sure you check out Dead by Wednesday on our Facebook and our Instagram.
Yes.
Follow us, like us. So you can-
YouTube.
YouTube. Keep track. While
Yeah.
we're-
Twitter,
the new song,
that social
the
media,
new song
our shit.
Darwin's
Yeah,
Dance.
I would say check that shit out.
iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. Thank you so much.
You.